and a little brief overview of tactical deployment of engines. So a couple of ways you can use an engine to go fight fire. One of them is to deploy hose. The first discussion point here. And if you're deploying hose, there are a couple of ways you can deploy hose. So one is rolled hose. The most common type of hose deployment. I'm not so sure that's the case anymore. I haven't run across an engine yet that does initial attack that doesn't use hose packs in quite some time. And generally, most of the region is using the same kind of hose pack or something really similar to where they're just about interchangeable. That's been my experience and exposure. If you want to say that the most common type of hose deployment, including large fires, is rolled hose, yeah, I'll agree completely. Advantages are that it's easy to store and transport, and it comes directly from the cache, rolled up just like that. Hard to deploy it uphill, hard to deploy it through brush and slash, both of which are things you can overcome with training and technique. The brush slash piece is a technique thing. And takes both hands to unroll it. There's also a couple other little tricks that you can play with rolled hose that makes it a little more, generally useful. Flaking is one of them. But yeah, rolled hose. Another option with rolled hose is double rolls, which allows you to unroll downhill. You can couple it and then drag the male end forward up the hill, or the nozzle end. I actually prefer double rolls for my inch lines. I stopped carrying inch hose not in double rolled. I don't do it with my 1.5 inch, just personal preference, except I keep one as an attack line that's double rolled. Okay, hose packs. Used for quick deployment of predetermined lengths of hose specific to needs geographic area. There's an upfront investment, but it pays dividends in the end. So kind of packs are there? There's all kinds of different hose packs. On the left there, you have a Gansner. You have a modified Gansner. And there's a Great Basin pack, which is generally what I use, and a Cleveland pack. And I think the Jarvis is the parent to the Great Basin, and most of the rest of them that fit in the old green bag setup. Generally, what I find is that everybody's running some semblance of hose pack in a green bag, and it flakes out your 1.5 inch most of the time, and the inch is in there one way or another. Okay, hose packs. Advantages. They are easier and faster to deploy. I also would say that they're probably more effective. And by easier and faster, it's exponentially so. Fittings are already attached, easy to store and transfer. Plus, you got a nice little bag to pick up all your gunk afterwards and backhaul it. Disadvantages: take skill and time to package. It takes time. It doesn't take a lot of skill. We can teach pretty much anybody to pack a hose pack, and it'll work. But it does take an investment in time. Requires extra training. I don't know about that. It requires training, but so does using and relying on rolled hose. If you want to be effective with rolled hose, you're going to have to train on that too. And it probably requires more training to be effective. You can go run a couple of hose packs and just about be an expert. Do one fire with hose packs and you're pretty darn good at it. Rolled hose, you're going to have to keep practicing to get good at deploying that. So an example of running hose packs. He's packing one, dragging a nozzle in the other hand, flowing massive water out of a big brush pile. And there's another good shot there. This is a training thing on doing hose packs, but so the guy with the nozzle in his hand just deployed a pack as he was spraying water, which is great. The other guy there who took his pack off, it looks like, and he's setting up what just came out of that guy's pack. So it's a team effort, but boy, it makes it so much easier. And then we have mobile attack, everybody's favorite, or it should be everybody's favorite. It's certainly the most fun. All right, mobile attack, live reel use. All right. So placement of your hoses for mobile attack, your lead hose usually does the majority of the knockdown, and the trail hose catches anything behind that. It's that whole lead trail patrol concept that you use running in tandem, only it's on one truck. So it's basically the same thing. I usually don't run a trail nozzle off a Type 6, but you certainly could. There's nothing wrong with it. Um, you know, live reel, do you use a live reel for it? I'd say the majority of people use a live reel for mobile attack. At the same time, I didn't. When I was a captain on a Type 3, I used a custom cut piece of 1-inch off the bumper discharge with a hanger to keep the hose up off the ground. And that piece of 1-inch, rather than running through a booster line, significantly reduced my friction loss and got it to where my RPMs could be down to almost 1200. I could still produce an effective fire stream with the nozzle. So it made it easier to do on a Type 3, and at the same time I could get higher flows if needed, with the operator working with the nozzleman to make that work. So again, is live reel the best? Well, no, but it works. The majority of people use it. The majority of people who do mobile attack a lot use it. So I wouldn't discount it. I certainly used it. I used it for my trail line off my Type 3. Trail engine. So I have a lead trail and patrol engine. If I can work engines doing mobile attack in tandem, that's the ideal situation, where the lead is doing the majority of the work. The trail follows up and picks up anything else that comes up. The patrol watches at the back door, and patrols back and forth and uses very little to no water, preferably. And then when the lead engine runs out of water, the trail becomes the lead, the patrol becomes the trail, and the lead goes and fills up and comes back and becomes the patrol. This is not the way to do mobile attack. I realized that they completely built that truck around the idea of riding on the truck doing mobile attack. And that's fine. That's not how we do it. Riding on the truck doing mobile attack is not as effective, I would say, as walking along. And I believe that the nozzleman is harder to see for the driver. Therefore, the possibility that that guy got hung up and fell out and I didn't notice it is higher. I like them to be in front of me and in my mirror. And I don't believe that that nozzleman is either in front of me or in my mirror, not particularly well. Mobile attack from the black, also called inside out. So you position your engine personnel in the black, in the burned area, and you're spraying water towards the green and putting out that fire edge. It's awesome. When it works, which is a lot of the time, most of the time, it's definitely a way to go. You're in your safety zone. Um, Also, all that fuel's burned off, so you can see the terrain and obstacles that are on the ground. So, um, if at all possible, this is my preference. It can be hot in there, and you could be driving through fire, and you're walking your people through stuff that's hot and burning, and you're gonna have to weigh that against the hazards of doing it from the green, which are also significant. We'll attack from the green. Usually I'm doing this when the wind's in my favor, and that's the main reason that I would be in the green. Or the residual heat in the brush is just too much for my truck or my people. So you're out in the green next to the fire edge. Good thing is you're right next to the edge of the fire, so you're not very far away from it. But there is unburned fuel between you and the fire. It may be only a few feet of it, but that's still significant in the sense that it's there. Rocks and holes and such are hidden by fuels. You end up driving through heavy brush. It can be a bit, less than desirable at times. So I personally do a combination of the two. I prefer to go from the black if I can, and I'll go from the green when that works better for me. But also from the green would be called outside in. Engine protection lines. Now, these guys have engine protection lines all set up and pre-coupled. Locations of your engine protection lines. Leave a quick connect hose in place to protect the engine at all times, or all our engines come with pre-connect areas for them, so maybe leave them hooked up. Engine protection line should be 1.5 inches with an 1.5 inch nozzle. Leave supply water in the tank for engine protection. What is the appropriate amount? The official answer is 10%. 10%. You may have heard a quarter. You may have heard 100 gallons. That used to be what we taught in the old S231 class. But officially out of the Red Book, it's 10%. So I would say that's kind of your minimum standard, and then you need to make sure you have enough to deal with whatever fuel and vegetation you're working in. So plan accordingly. The lines need to be able to cover all sides of the engine, and probably more importantly, the people need to know their jobs when it comes to an engine protection type drill. Engine protection drill is something that will be covered in the course. I'll make sure of it. Commo. So if you are trying to communicate your mobile attack, the kind of the tricks that come up are where you got radios, except that if I'm outside the truck with that big rumbling engine, it's really hard to hear my radio if I'm a nozzle person. So the driver can yell at him on the PA. The nozzleman can usually talk on the radio at him. The old squirt the window trick works really well. That'll wake up a driver quickly. And